the thing that gets me about with BYU with the Mormon's not the term they prefer LDS.
LDS, yeah.
Is there's no way if I decided I was down with the golden plates and want to convert, not handsome enough. There is somewhere in the body. Those are some good looking people.
They are.
Every LDS family I've seen looks like, like when you buy a picture frame and there's that beautiful family in there. I believe they're all. I got to start checking those pictures, all from Utah. Reach out to me this week, somebody I didn't know very well, and just asked me, "Do you play golf?"
Ooh.
And I gave him my typical answers. Well, I own golf clubs.
That's a good answer. You do need to, as an adult male, you need an answer to that. Hopefully, something that's like somewhat self-deprecating and also a little funny.
Yeah.
Because if you say, "Oh yeah, I play golf," there's an expectation.
Yeah, but also I think as a middle class person of a certain age. And being a man, you're pretty obligated. You should have golf clubs.
Wow, man, I don't have golf clubs. What does that say about me?
Well, that's good. I think we need to go to Olive Garden.
I'm the guy.
Have a talk.
Thanks. I'm the guy that goes and. Do y'all rent golf clubs? I did get a driver one time, so I didn't have to use the driver at the golfing range. But my answer to that, when people say, and I heard somebody say this, and I thought it was funny. So if somebody says, "Do you play golf?" I'd say I play a version of golf.
There we go. And you got to have something for that.
Which is like, I'll play,
mm-hmm.
but I haven't played in a while.
Yeah. So we've established that athletic is not an adjective that's used about me. So I told him, I own golf clubs. I was like, I play not very well, but I like to get out there every now and then and talk a little bit more. And he has, so I clarified that he could tolerate my low level of play. Yes. And the second most important thing, the guy was cheap, and I like that. Like if I'm going to go out there and throw away a bunch of golf balls,
right.
I don't want to pay $90 for the pleasure of doing that.
That's right. And if you need to either sneak in your own beer or just don't drink, which is I'm not a fan of that one, because otherwise you're going to pay $40 for a 6-pack.
Well, so
Michelob Ultra.
The place we went, which I had never been before, I'll give you just a little bit of direction. And I didn't realize this. I knew it was cheap. He told me the price. He's like, meet me there at 1:30. I'm like, sure, that'll be great.
Yeah.
So I get in, throw the address in Waze. And, things you never want to hear Waze say if you're in the Richmond, Virginia area. Get off at exit.
No,
you don't.
Rethinking your whole plan.
So arrive at the golf course, and he greets me by saying, yeah, I didn't want to tell you, but here you are.
He hasn't known you for that long. He's already known, I didn't want to tell you about the cats at the house last time. It's like,
it's a smart move because once you're there, but it was bonding. And he then shared with me that people have actually been mugged on holes 8 and 9, but still he hit my two things. He could tolerate how bad I was, which after the first hole, I realized the scorecard that was on the cart disappeared.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. He realized it was pointless or he was going to get a hand cramp.
How good was he?
Well, much better than me, which means absolutely nothing. He didn't embarrass himself.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're bonding with coworkers. I feel like you've turned over a lot of new leaves recently with
Positive Steve.
I believe, I know you were recently offered some kombucha. I don't know if you actually partook, but I don't think you punched him in the face.
No. And you know what? I had already had lunch. So when someone offered me Korean barbecue, I didn't feel I had a good reason to get out of it.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to Origin of Speaksies. I'm Scott. I'm here with my friend Steve. And tonight we are doing, I think, 3 idioms?
Based on skin.
Which sounds really creepy. I got an email from you saying, hey man, next episode I
used the term skin themed.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Skin themed. But then I started thinking about it, and there are so many of them. Which ones did you choose? Which one do you want to start with?
That was, so I will plant the seeds for a potential sequel episode before we even begin.
Okay.
There were I'd say frightening amount of skin idioms that are out there, or skin related.
Definitely like the other one like that is cat, because we've done I guess we just did 2 in the cat episode, but there were so many to choose from. We'll definitely have to come back to cat ones.
And we're going to see a little bit of a Venn diagram overlap in this episode too.
Nice.
So, skin. First one. Under my skin.
Yeah. What does that mean?
So, well, is this one you ever use or hear used?
I think that's a very common one. This, really gets under my skin, and it's very prevalent. Heard it my whole life. I've always taken it to mean somebody is getting to me, right? They're getting on my nerves. They are annoying me, bothering me. So maybe it's like an insect getting under my skin, or like I never thought it through what it could be, why it would be.
Well, that gets to the initial roots of it that I found. So in past episodes, we've talked about how life years ago was much harsher than life is now.
Sure.
The proverbial back in the day, I'd say, barely more than 100 years ago, you had to worry about.
So, I'm a little worried to hear what got under people's skin back in the day, because I got a feeling this could be
that's the thing. Like,
don't let the bed bugs bite situation.
We hear that now, and we kind of think of it more in a, theoretically we understand something could get under our skin.
That's how I think of it, yeah.
But back, infestation, insects getting in you was more of a real problem. We, in our filthy, dirty, very recent past, infestation was a factor. So again, I think the bear scale to kind of judge things you should be scared of. And now bears are really high on that. But in the back in the day, you had to worry about when you went to bed. We've talked before about sleep tight.
Yep.
Don't let the bed bugs bite. That's something that could happen. So the roots of using that phrase, come from the fact that something, when someone says, "Oh, it got under my skin, it bothered me," that was something everyone understood, because you probably had something living under your skin at that time. And I am also just going to periodically interject some skin facts,
please,
as we go through this, because I know that's what people really want. Skin accounts for about 15% of your body weight.
Ew. Why does that seem gross?
I'll tell you why. It's because how much dead skin cells are shed. So skin, you will shed 30,000 to 40,000 cells every minute. Your skin.
That's incredible.
That is. That's gross.
I thought you were going to say like every week or something.
9 pounds a year.
That's how much you shed every year? 9 pounds?
Yep. And dead skin comprises about 1 billion tons of dust in the Earth's atmosphere.
Ew, so you're breathing dead skin all the time.
So the next time, like you get that beam of sunlight on your dresser.
Yeah, right.
And like, oh, it's a little dusty there. Well, that could be a little bit of you, a little bit of me.
We're swimming in skin.
Yeah. Skin fact.
Dead skin at that.
So back to get under your skin. So that's something that everyone kind of understood and used, because in the day,
Can I make another interjection here about
please
infestation? Infestation is back due to the high homeless populations and the lack of vaccinations and things. Like a bunch of these. So it's infestation, but it's also disease that's spread by infestation.
Right.
Is on the rise. They just had a typhus outbreak in LA because of the homeless population.
Right. Probably abetted by the fact that in the rich part of town, all the moms went to Dr. Jenny McCarthy and didn't get their kids vaccinated.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's we're not out of the woods yet.
So maybe this will become more in vogue. So, so the origin of it is something that everyone understood. Infestation, things literally being under your skin, was something that happened often. So people understood that, as we talked about using it, something that gets under your skin, generally it's got a negative connotation to it. Something's bothering you, it's under your skin.
Right.
So how did it get popularized?
Right.
So going back to different uses in popular culture, the earliest use I was able to track down, and I say I found someone else who had tracked down the earliest use.
Yes. When we say research, that's what we
research mean. In the Google machine, someone else found this. So the earliest written use I found via someone else was in a book by Bayard Taylor, an author I had never heard of before, and on some subsequent research, still didn't learn too much about. But I will give him credit for having a very well-titled book, John Godfrey's Fortunes, ; related by himself. So
going back to
classic 19th century book naming.
Absolutely.
So the phrase that was used there was, the idea was like a tropical sand flea. It had gotten under my skin.
Tropical sand.
In the attempt to dislodge it, opened the germs of hundreds of others.
Ew.
So maybe after the reading that phrase, I understand why we've never heard of Bayard Taylor.
Bayard Taylor. First of
Yeah.
all, I was going to say B. Arthur. Bayard Taylor.
B. Arthur was in the Marines.
You ever see a young B. Arthur?
Yeah, when she was a badass Marine. That's not a joke.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. That's why you said Marine. My bad. But let's go back to a tropical sand flea. That sounds like a drink you'd take on a dare in.
I'd drink a tropical sand flea,
right?
Provided it wasn't at an Applebee's. But then again, anything in an Applebee's, I'm probably not going to have anyway.
You're probably going to get fleas. Yeah. They're just not going to be.
They're not tropical sand fleas.
Or you might get some tropical land fleas from the hostess at Applebee's.
Let's leave the hostesses out of this.
Okay.
No Dutch burns.
No.
So that's the earliest use. Probably a use that helped popularize it more was from a poem by Rudyard Kipling entitled "The Ladies." And that's just fun to say. Not the ladies.
I like the way you said
the ladies.
The ladies.
So
ladies' night with Rudyard. I can't never say his name. So
he
comes
Rudyard?
up a lot. No, you said it perfectly.
What'd I say?
You said it right. I can't say it
okay.
right. I say when I say it sounds like Richard. Like a Richard. You said Rudyard, but either way, it's Kipling.
Yeah,
and he's back because he's been around. Yeah, he's been here a few times.
So in the poem, "The Ladies," it discusses a philandering.
I like how you lean it. In the poem. The ladies.
It is. It's the lean that makes it. A philandering speaker draws his own conclusions about women, no matter the color of their skin. And the line is, "For the Colonel's lady and Judy O'Grady are sisters under their skins." So
wait a minute. Is he talking about what I think he's talking about? So he's saying regardless of skin color, he's relegating a nationality to them?
I think he's saying,
what he's saying?
They're
sisters. They're not sisters like African American.
No, I don't think they would.
And
I don't think Kipling would use that term. From what else I know about him there too.
Well, you said when you started saying something about color of skin, I got thrown off because I'm like, Rudyard Kipling was writing about this.
This might be his way to say in the dark we're all black.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like he's saying. They're sisters under the. Yeah. All right.
Well. So that's a little bit more of that's using the phrase. But in this circumstance, it's kind of pushing more at something at what your true self is.
Okay,
under the skin. It's not as much as the agitating view of it.
So it's more of a don't judge a book by its cover. Mm-hmm. More of a almost like beauty is only skin deep.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not what he's saying. But it's still the same idea of underneath the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the use of this phrase that I think drove it, and this is a little bit of my putting my value on this, is the origin that I actually thought that made me think of skin in the first place. I originally was trying to find idioms used by Frank Sinatra's song titles to start this. So didn't have much luck with that. But the Cole Porter song, "I've Got You Under My Skin," popularized by Frank Sinatra.
Nice.
So that is one that uses under my skin a little bit in the agitating way.
Yeah.
But there's not as much of a pejorative with that.
It's like you I can't get you out of my mind. You're under my skin. You're in my
Yeah.
I don't know much about Cole Porter. I know the name and I feel like he's part of a jazz or blues thing that I don't know much about.
I'd almost call him like American songbook, like kind of standard classic. So you might not know him, but you'll know some of his songs as I list through them. So Cole Porter was a composer, songwriter in the time where if you were a composer and songwriter, you didn't go make pop songs with pop groups. You put them in plays. So responsible for many famous plays that originated in Broadway. Frank Sinatra did several of his songs that that's how I know a lot of his songs prominently through that. So.
Yeah, because you were going to look for Frank Sinatra once, and you're like, the man behind the man in some ways.
So some Cole Porter songs that you might know. We talked about Under My Skin.
Mm-hmm.
I Get a Kick Out of You.
Okay, I think I know that one.
Don't Fence Me In. Love for Sale, which I know from Chevy Chase singing that in one of the vacation movies.
Okay.
And let's do it. Let's fall in love. Birds do it. Bees do it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So see, I'm going to tell you why I'm hesitating a little bit. All of these songs have it's not like Kashmir. It's like these are songs that have very, I don't want to say generic titles, but it's like love song type. So it's like, I feel like there's a million songs that could be.
Yeah.
So as soon as you give me a verse, it's like, oh yeah, I know that. But Can't Fence Me In, I remember.
Yeah. And there's some that aren't all winners. Like My Heart Belongs to Daddy. Based on what I know about his personal life, maybe there's some double entendres that I'm just gonna.
It's not a Conway Twitty song.
Not a. I don't. Well, that could be. I need to do some research. There could be a hidden Conway Twitty version of that. So Under My Skin started as something meaning kind of what you would think in the proverbial back in the day, something literally under your skin. The origins of it being everyone understood what it meant to have something under their skin that bothered them because they probably did. As it's evolved, sometimes it's used for that, for when people get angry and they're bothering you, they get under your skin. But there's also uses of it too where it can be something that's maybe not a bad thing. I can't get you out of my head.
I think it's a great idiom, a great phrase. It's a really good one for a songwriter. It's a really good one to convey feeling because it's so visceral. You're talking about something being under your skin. So if you're back in the day dealing with actual infestation and things getting under your skin, it's going to be really relatable. You say, oh, this thing's got under my skin, and it's like, even if it's being euphemistic, it still paints a bleak, bad thing. Over time, though, it can, as things get a little bit better, you don't have to worry about bugs under your skin as much. Yeah. But it's still, there's that, I keep using the word visceral. I'm trying to think of another word, but it does paint a picture. And if you think of it in the terms of a love song, it's a great lyric. It's a great, that would be really potent. So
yeah, and it gets to the different types of feelings you might have. Speaking of which, some more skin facts. Skin facts. Your skin has at least 5 different types of receptors that respond to pain and touch.
Ooh, oh.
Skin fact. Skin fact, your skin is thickest on your feet and thinnest on your eyelids.
Oh.
Skin facts.
Really?
Yep. So there's some good skin facts for you. So speaking of things that are uncomfortable, the next idiom we have, more than one way to skin a cat.
I'm glad we're doing this one. Again, because I have no idea, and I didn't do any looking this up. And it's one that I use, but I realize I've started to get the stank face, right? Because people are like, "Isn't there a better way to say that?" I don't,
But that's one. So you use that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've used it too, and it's
I may have used it. I think I used it today. Yeah, I dead serious because we were talking about another way to solve a problem. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and it's kind of like,
and that's one that I've used that I've always thought it's just so hyperbolous that it just doesn't. You say it because it's outrageous, but it's conveying something. There's more than one way to do something.
Right, because and if you tell me that this comes from an actual variation on ways to skin a cat, I will be very curious about that because curious as a cat. Cat got your tongue? Yes. Because I can understand skinning a rabbit. Many animals, animals need to get skinned for sustenance and everything, and I'm sure there's more than one way, but unless you're in I don't know, a place where they eat cats like Mexico or something, why would you...
They eat cats in Mexico?
That was a callback to like the third or fourth one where we were talking about cats falling from the sky raining. It's from the Raining Cats and Dogs.
Sorry.
And I was like, clearly
I didn't even get our own reference.
Well, we're on episode, I think this is probably like 39. I just recalled something from episode 4. So that's what you call it.
That's when you actually did work on it. I just showed up and made smart ass comments.
Hey man, no, that's the most important part. You're the straw that stirs the drink, my man.
Oh,
so
future episode.
That would be good, Daryl Strawberry.
More than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, why a cat? What's up?
So, unfortunately,
we don't know why it's a cat.
No, we'll get a little callbacky again to discuss Cakewalk. So for this one, we're relying on our good friend at Worldwide Words in the research that he's done.
Nice.
And how do you say the gentleman's name? Because I won't say his last name correctly.
It's Michael Quinion.
Okay, good. Again, my Kipling blue.
How do you not know how to pronounce the guy from an obscure website.
I don't know. Because we rely on him.
Well, he's a rock star for us, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's like a household
Basically
name.
does our job for us.
Yeah, and for everyone else on the internet too.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, there's two places, or there's two types of websites when we're researching. There's ones that aren't right, and then there's World Wide Webs and people that have like quoted extensively from him, because his stuff came out like 20 years ago, and then there's like every other website and our podcast that are all taken from Michael. But so anyway, yes. So what'd you find?
So this is one that's kind of a proverb that just basically say, there's more than one way to do thing. And there's a couple other like versions of this, There's one more way to cook an egg. There's more than one way to peel an orange. It gets the idea across that a problem has more than one solution, but they're not catchy. And they're certainly not hyperbolous.
Way too PETA approved.
So other versions of this proverb that are a little bit catchier than peeling an orange. Other versions include there are more ways of killing a cat than choking it with butter.
What?
There are more ways of killing a dog than choking him with pudding.
What?
And semi-related, which comes back to a collection of English proverbs by a gentleman by the name of John Ray from 1678.
Mm-hmm.
There are more ways to kill a dog than hanging.
Now that one makes more sense.
Yeah, but again,
It's
just
dark,
doesn't.
but-
And maybe because we've heard there's more than one way to skin a cat so many times that
Right.
it kind of flows off the tongue and is easy to say. So a version of this that I think was pretty key in getting into the Carmen parlance was Mark Twain used it in a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court,
Okay.
where he used the phrase as there's more ways to skin a cat, so there are more ways of one than digging for money. So just kind of it seems to indicate, according to Worldwide Words, this is kind of a well-known thing, and got it out there.
This is back when Mark Twain said something like,
Well, it mattered.
yeah, and everybody.
Yeah. Well, it still does especially when Val Kilmer dresses up like Mark Twain, which is future episode to discuss.
Bizarre.
So some other writers have too thought that this phrase has stayed around or been popular, that maybe is a reference to catfish.
Oh.
Which makes a lot of sense. There's that
You clean a catfish.
well, you clean a fish, you skin a
I guess
fish.
you skin it.
Yeah, skin or scale
Okay.
it. So that makes it feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
About doing that.
Yeah, because as Kurt Cobain told us,
Yeah.
they don't have any feelings.
Yeah. And there's also something that came out of this, which I was not aware of, is to skin a cat is an actual gymnastics exercise.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So-
I probably shouldn't go down that road. I'm sitting here trying to picture what that would
Yeah.
be.
Well, it's described as passing the feet and legs between the arms while hanging by the hands from a horizontal bar.
Oh, I do.
And I looked it up, and it kind of makes sense when you see it. And as I'm sure anyone who's paid any attention to us can know, we are rugged, outdoorsy men, and
Yeah.
certainly athletic also. So
We
when
have
it comes
beards.
to skinning the cat and gymnastics, that's certainly at the top of the thing.
No.
So it seems like that this is just kind of a proverb that's hyperbolous, that no one actually skinned a cat.
Yeah.
However, there are some indications that apparently cat skinning was a thing that needed to be addressed.
Oh,
So someone else did some research and found some minutes from a House of Commons committee from 1832 entitled Minutes of Evidence Taken Before Committee on Bill for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So I'm going to read from the minutes here.
Okay.
The person speaking first is a member of Parliament, or MP, as members of the House of Commons are known,
Yep.
and the other person is a witness.
Okay.
MP, do you come forward yourself, or do you come forward at the instigation of anybody else? Respondent, now to give your evidence, I was ordered by my superior.
Mm-hmm.
MP, have you any experience in killing cats? Respondent, no. You know, it is a very difficult animal to kill, he continued. Yes, I have heard so. More difficult than a dog? I don't know. You know whether it's difficult to skin a cat or not? I wish I could do a British accent. I do not.
No.
Do you know what the value of a cat's skin is? No. Do you know what they do with the cat skins when they've been killed? They sell them to furriers. I believe they're different prices. So anyway.
Geez. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah. Except in a Britishy accent. So
Right.
theoretically, someone's out there skinning cats, which just sounds like an awful thing. So this is an idiom I enjoy using because I take it, at least personally, as it's just a hyperbolous way to say something. There's more than one solution to this problem. It stands out. I don't know what people that are not native English speakers think when they hear this.
I feel like it's so abstract almost to where it does. Like I think you mentioned earlier, it's so far fetched to. I mean, obviously, look, man, we live in a lot of things happen, and it's a big, crazy world. There's people skinning cats, okay?
Yeah.
But it is an outlandish thing. So when somebody says it, like I don't say stuff about skinning cats. It's
so something that's kind of abstract when you think about it is some more skin facts.
skin fact.
Skin fact. Your skin can host a microbiome that can contain more than 1,000 types of bacteria.
Whoa.
Your skin is an ecosystem that is a host to billions of creatures.
Hold on. So what you're telling me is in like one biodome of my skin, there could be a whole other universe.
Is that a Pauly Shore?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Biodome.
I'm glad you're the editor.
How dare you?
Skin fact. You know, when people receive tattoos and it stays, the ink stays there.
Yeah.
It's thanks to cells called macrophages or microphages.
Oh.
Depends on what part of Holland. If you're from North Holland or South Holland, you might pronounce that different.
Got it.
Macrophages.
So that does. I have wondered about that because I didn't know that you know. I think you said you shed like 20,000 cells every minute, but I always have kind of wondered like. I know you're always losing cells and the skin's coming back. So how does that stay?
And you've commented at the poll that my tramp stamp has stayed on through all the years and the abuse that has gone through.
It's a little faded, but
but it's still going. It's still got it.
Right. It's still that really nice, military green. I like it. Is that an actual color?
Military green?
No.
It could be.
I think everyone knows what I mean though.
So the macrophages, when they attack the tattoo ink in the dermis, in the skin's middle layer, they essentially eat the dye, but then pass it to other macrophages when they die off. So the pigment is essentially transferred from one cell to another, which is very interesting.
And that keeps going on? That's, wow,
keeps going on.
That's interesting. Okay. Man, that's educational, actually.
No, so
that's the best fact you've had yet.
Yeah, and that's maybe why my Red Hot Chili Peppers back tattoo tramp stamp is still going. So the last one I have is one that I use all the time, and often in business situations, and it's skin in the game.
Yes.
So is this a phrase that you've used or seen used?
This is another one I use all the time. Yeah.
And this is one we used a lot in sales situations in my former life of being in sales. Was, discussing a client, you didn't want to give everything away to them. You want to make sure, the way I've heard it used often is you want to make sure the client has some skin in the game.
Yeah.
If you're going to give them some sort of, discount or a trial solution,
right?
You want to make sure that they have, you're not giving it to them for free. You want them to have some I guess
there needs to be some risk on their end as well.
Yeah, there needs to be some
or something, right? Like some sort of mutual reason to care. It's not. They're not. Yeah.
Well,
I'm interested though because I feel like this could be one of the ones that I think of as one way.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's not right, or maybe there's other ways to think of it.
Someone needs to also share monetary risk.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to.
So that is how I think of it. Yeah.
So this one is often attributed to Warren Buffett. Not correctly, as we'll go into.
I feel like Warren Buffett. There's a lot of stuff probably attributed. Yeah. Because he's the one that people like. You can say if Warren Buffett says this, and all of a sudden you're all ears because
and
everyone wants to be Warren Buffett.
And do you remember the time that we thought we saw Warren Buffett at a restaurant in Richmond?
We did see Warren Buffett,
and there's still a chance
I think it might have been Warren Buffett. Where were we? I do remember that, but I forgot.
Was it lunch?
It was.
No, it wasn't lunch / brunch because it was in Carytown.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Was it Metro? Should I just keep
No, I've
listing
never
off
been
restaurants?
to. I've never been to. We may have seen him, but
And I have
none
grainy
of his
footage. Maybe I should put that on one of our social media
Oh.
outlets to see if anyone can identify.
Wait,
if
did
it's...
you take that with like a flip phone? Is that how long ago that was, or is that
No,
iPhone?
but it was extend. It was trying to casually take a picture on an
Right.
iPhone
Okay,
without looking too
right.
desperate. But I like that I've hit the stage of life that I was sincerely excited that I saw Warren Buffett.
Gosh, I can picture where we were. I'm trying to remember where it was because you clinched up. I remember you were like, "That's Warren Buffett. That's
Yeah.
Warren Buffett." I looked over and I remember thinking like, that could be Warren Buffett. So it may have been because he's
Yeah.
known for wearing like. I mean, it's going to drive me crazy.
He
Okay, I'm
would-
gonna let it go because nobody gives a shit. But nobody. Sorry,
I
I'm gonna let
care.
it go because nobody cares. But Warren Buffett, it's like Ben Franklin, and you just
Yeah.
kind of put him at the end of something. So it's attributed to him.
Yeah,
falsely.
Well, falsely. But for good reason, I think. I think it's something that reflects well on him that people look at that. So decided to mix it up a little bit and not rip off Worldwide Words for the origin of this, but actually
We'll get back to that in my next
yeah.
episode.
I am going to take someone else's research, a gentleman by the name of William Safire, who did had a column with the New York Times called On Language that was published every weekend starting in 1979 until he passed away. So he dedicated a whole article to that we will rip off right now from 2006. So some of the examples he was using at times that how it was kind of in common parlance, gave some references to Microsoft using it and some other, people in politics using it. It seemed to be kind of a trendy talk of the times. The earliest use he found came from 1912 in a column called Town Talk in the Oakland Tribune. It discussed a lady who was playing polo, and the quote goes, "It cannot be said that the latest visit of Eleanor Sears to California was an unqualified success. She didn't play polo, though she seemed crazy for a chance. She was very insistent while the men refused to let her hazard her skin in the game.
Interesting.
But when they finally consented, she was attacked by what the vulgar called cold feet and reneged." So a lot of things in this.
A lot of stuff there.
Including that apparently if you went to California and you somehow didn't play polo,
It was an unsuccessful.
you've just messed up your time there. But I think it kind of gets back to, again, not necessarily financial risk, but maybe physical risk in that. Also, Sapphire discusses some other things, the skin game, a card game in which each player has one card, which he bets will not be the first to be matched by a card dealt by someone else, which is a game I've never played. And it also gets back into kind of tie things around to talking about things being skinned for valuable fur that, as we've learned earlier, can potentially involve cat fur. So William, also it's noted that it was not used by Warren Buffett. I think this started in the 80s to pick up in popularity, and one root of that is a Wall Street Journal article from 1986 discussing IBM. And someone, an executive uses quote, "That's mainly because others don't have their skin in the game the way the marketing rep does," discussing a business situation. So you kind of conflate that with Warren Buffett, IBM in the 80s.
IBM in the 80s.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, this is going to be it. Yeah.
Makes it, and it's something that just kind of makes sense. Your skin, yourself, your risk, putting yourself in the game, like Eleanor Sears refused to do.
Right. The Eleanor Sears one, like, to me, that seems like doesn't seem, I mean, an article in the Oakland whatever about a lady not playing, but it is interesting because it's like the actual, your skin did not get risked. So that is like an antecedent to the whole thing. But
well, the other thing that's important too is I want to, use the fact to discuss the New York Times, and that I have a subscription to the New York Times. I don't know if you knew that. And
yeah, I did know that.
Mainly the
you
reason
read it on
I have,
Sunday, don't you?
well, potentially.
I know a lot about you.
Mainly I like to say that so I can just tell people. That's
You-
like one of those
you
things
talk
that
about it all the time.
the whole point of it is to tell people that you have that.
No, I think you had mentioned a while ago, because I thought it was a good idea, that you'll read publications from all sides of.
Yeah. And I usually use it to throw people off. The other thing that in my mind that I want to do, but I've not taken the time, I don't want to put the skin in the game to do this, is I highly desire to gather just a stock of Trump wine.
Oh, yeah.
And then to give out the bottles as a gift, mainly to mess with people. To see if people realize, like, if I think they're a Trump, because even if you're a Trump fan and you get that, I would think that you're wondering if someone's trying to mess with you. But could you imagine just showing up? I think, glass half full, one of the fun things about our current political era is if you showed up somewhere with a bottle of Trump wine just to see what would happen.
Oh, I see. This is right up my alley, and I actually have a story about this, which I may have told you, but first of all, I love that type of thing. I love to just see what people's reactions are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to Trump Winery, and I have bought bottles of wine there, and I have a Trump wine glass. I have a Trump wine glass. On more than one occasion, I have had a young lady over, and who I know is what you
can gauge the reaction. You anticipate their views.
Yes, if it hasn't been made explicit already, and I have on more than one occasion pulled out the Trump wine glass and just nonchalantly not mentioned it and poured it. And one time somebody did, like made a comment about, "Oh, you a big Trump fan?" And I'm just like, "What are you talking about? Oh, no. You mean the vintner?" Or oh, is he in politics or something? But no. So it's funny you brought that up because I haven't done that. So,
and if you want to talk about funny, I think nothing is funnier than bringing up Donald Trump. Gets a laugh, especially on a date. That is a good way to make a smile. So, many skin idioms out there.
Yeah.
Some in different, I would say, shades of awkwardness or grossness as you go through them. Because the skin is kind of gross.
It is kind of gross. When you said skin, like, I think it's probably from listening to some, other podcasts that are like true crime or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I started thinking of is like serial killers and lampshades, and that's kind of
you don't need that.
That's the first thing I'm thinking about.
You can just there's a billion tons of dust in the atmosphere. You can just wait to collect it.
Skin fact.
And deal with that.
I enjoyed the skin facts.
Yeah, good skin facts. The last skin fact, which is the basic one, your largest organ.
Ooh, I hate that. I've heard that one, and that's disgusting.
And it is. I wanted to kind of, and because you thought it was disgusting, I got a bottle of Trump wine that I wanted to give you to celebrate that. Whether it's difficult to skin a cat or not.